This morning, the day didn't start with coffee in Belgorod. The city is subject to lots of shelling lately, also due to Russian insurgent attacks. Smoke rises over the city.
Ой, ё-моё. Кошмар.
Allied real Russian opposition forces announced they took full control of Gorkovskiy in Belgorod region. The local administration building is under their control. We are talking about the RDK, Free Legion of Russia, Siberian Battalion, and the Ichkeria fighters. Budanov, the Free Russian Army is not planning to stop anytime soon. As we can see, they have solid resources.
Наскільки нам відомо, вони не збираються закінчувати найближчим часом і будуть робити все, на що їм вистачить сил. А як ми бачимо за останній час, сили у них достатньо є для того, щоб, скажімо так, як мінімум досягти обмежень. Що буде далі, побачимо з часом.
This is reported as a second attack this morning at a polling station in Belgorod. So-called elections have ended in Russia. Putin got 87% of the votes after 26, 10% of the ballots have been processed, according to Russian media. Also, Russian authorities say that the general federal attendance during the elections was 74-22%. These elections were completely illegal, and Putin is not a legitimate president of the Russian Federation. These days, the Russian dictator imitates another elections. Everyone in the world understands that this person, like many others throughout history, has become sick with power and will stop at nothing to rule forever. There is no evil he would not do to maintain his personal power, and no one in the world would have been safeguarded from this. I am grateful to every state, leader, and international organization that has and will continue to call these things by their proper names. Everything Russia does in Ukraine's occupied territories is a crime. There should be a fair response to everything the Russian murderers did in this war to secure Putin's eternal rule. Only one thing scares him the most: accountability. This imitation of elections has no legitimacy and cannot have any. This person must end up on the dock in The Hague. This is what we must ensure. Anyone in the world who values life and decency. Putin confirmed that there have been suggestions to exchange Navalny before Alexei Navalny's death. A few days before Mr. Navalny passed away, some people have told me that there is an idea to exchange Mr. Navalny for some people who are imprisoned in the Western countries. The person who was talking to me had barely finished his sentence, and I've already said, I agree. But unfortunately, what happened. There was just one condition. I said we would exchange him and he shouldn't come back. Let him stay there. But that happens, nothing to be done about that, Putin said. That was reportedly the first time Putin said Navalny's name after his death. In his post-election speech, Putin doubled down on all earlier threats and accusations. Yet he also openly spoke about Navalny, mentioning his name for the first time. He dismissed the American election process as completely undemocratic. He also threatened to create a sanitary zone on Ukrainian land in the east in the future, possibly alluding to nuclear strikes. He was even more brazen than usual, but only spent a minute on the actual discussion of his campaign opponents and results of the election at the end of the speech. A woman wearing a blue and yellow scarf came to the polling station in the Russian embassy in Berlin. Russian ambassador in Germany, Sergei Nechayev, is near her. Russian media report an explosion at a polling station in Russian Perm. Reportedly, a grandma carried a firecracker inside and blew it up in the bathroom, Russian telegram channels. By preliminary information, her arm was torn off. 50 people were evacuated from the building.
Там еще полиция едет.
China is learning from the war in Ukraine. and is now placing increased focus on teaching its soldiers to fly FPV drones even in the most challenging terrains. Drone warfare is here to stay. Zelensky is the greatest salesman in history. He leaves the USA with $50 to $60 billion every time. I have never been able to do this. He's a better salesman than I am. Loan them the money, don't just hand them a check, Trump said at a rally.
Every time they pay us back, loan them the money. Give it to them as a loan. Let them be a little bit like they have to be a little nice. Loan them the money. Don't just hand them a check for $60 billion. I tell you, Zelensky's one of the greatest salesmen in history. Every time he comes to the country, he walks away with $50 or $60 billion. I've never been able to do that. He's a better salesman. He's a much better.
The commander of one of the companies of the 3rd Mechanized Battalion of the 65th Mechanized Brigade personally captures the occupier in the Robotine area, Zaporizhia direction. This fighter, despite his rank, directly participates in combat operations at the same level as the rank and file of his unit during defense and assaults. This rarely happens. Yes, this is very risky, because the management of the unit may suffer greatly in the event of the loss of the commander. But this is an excellent example for subordinates. It helps a lot. It deserves great respect. The Czech Republic has secured about 800,000 artillery shells from various suppliers around the world. It concerns 300.000 Soviet-style shells and about 500,000 Western-made shells. It has found another 700,000 that can be purchased additionally. The first 800,000 will be delivered in batches throughout the year. And as soon as the funding is allocated, additional shells will follow. The Czech government estimates that the total purchase of 1.5 million shells will cost $3.3 billion.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.